Hola, this is Neil. It's April 15th, and I'm going to show the new ability to override the Google Client ID lookup. Previously, we had a single Google Client ID, which worked when we only had the web application, but now that we're going to have multiple native application types, we need a way to look up different client IDs without constantly rewriting code. So here is how it's going to work. When you pass in the user, oh, this is miswritten too. You pass in the auth, you can do sign in and then put in a client ID lookup. So if you put in Google Android, then it will look up the Google Android underscore client ID thingamabob. So just as an ID, let's see, client ID. So it looks like this. And pardon the rough highlighting here. So in this case, we'd be looking up Google Android Client ID. If you leave that out, it defaults to Google. So that would be the default one. And I've also modified the MVP so that you can specify a client override as a query string variable. So we're going to try that out right now. All right, so what happened here, when we go to where it's configuring the Google Client ID, which is just for the MVP, and then we sign in. Where's my sign in? Here it is. See, I called it MVP so that I couldn't find it in the thing. That's what I should be looking for. And that's because the full path, I'm only displaying the name of the page. The full path you'll see is signin/MVP. And then what that does, let's use our fancy logging stuff. So we'll take the log ID, paste it in here. And now we can see how that worked. So, I passed in the get. I did a get to auth signin/MVP, which ended up causing it to do this. MVP client ID, which looks up the secret that I set. Here. And I have this expire, so after this month, you're not going to see this. If you're going to create secrets that are for temporary dev work, as in this isn't going to be something we use later, I really would recommend that you set it to expire. So that way the secret just disappears later without you having to remember to go back and clean it up. So that's how all that works. So just remember, when you're in the MVP client, you can use the client query string variable to override what you pass in for the auth route here. So that overwrites that. And then that causes a secret lookup, which then gets used here. And if we take out this filter, just look at 5 minutes, we'll see all of the stuff happening. So we got the config client ID, and then, well, that's after the fact. Here we go. So here's the actual get, and I can't tag this because this is what comes in through Cloud Run. But you can see there, that's the URL that got passed in and it translated to this client. All right, there you have it. Go hack on Android.